A dominant blowout in Game 1 has completely shifted the conversation, and now bold claims are flooding and some even saying this series might not last long at all. The way the team executed on both sides of the ball left analysts stunned and fans fired up, with momentum swinging heavily in their favor. Confidence is soaring, pressure is mounting on the opposition, and whispers of a potential sweep are growing louder by the minute. Could this explosive start be the beginning of a short and decisive series? Stay tuned, because we're diving into the strongest reactions, the boldest takes, and what this commanding win really means for the path ahead. The Los Angeles Dodgers have done it again, and the baseball world is buzzing. After a dominant blowout victory over the Cincinnati Reds in Game 1 of the National League Wild Card Series, ESPN and other major sports outlets are already reacting with one bold take. The Dodgers look ready to sweep the Reds and move on with authority. This wasn't just a win, this was a statement. And if you watched the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. From the very first pitch, the Dodgers looked locked in, hungry, and determined to remind everyone why they've been the class of the National League for over a decade. Let's dive into how it all went down, because this wasn't just another playoff game. This was the Dodgers sending a message to the entire league. First off, the energy inside Dodger Stadium was absolutely electric. Fans knew what was at stake. A wild card game is always a bit of a gamble, but with the new playoff format giving us this short series, there's no room for error. The Dodgers came in with all the pressure on their shoulders, but instead of looking tight, they looked loose, confident, and ready to dominate. The offense wasted no time getting started. The bats were alive early, and it was none other than Shohei Ohtani who set the tone. Ohtani has been in the spotlight all season long, and there was a lot of talk about whether he could handle the playoff pressure in a Dodgers uniform. Well, if Game 1 was any indication, he's built for this stage. In his first at-bat, he ripped a double down the line, and you could feel the Reds start to get nervous. That hit wasn't just a knock, it was a spark. And from there, the floodgates opened. The Dodgers put up runs in bunches, showcasing why they have one of the most dangerous lineups in baseball. Freddie Freeman looked locked in, Mookie Betts was doing damage at the top of the order, and even guys lower in the lineup stepped up big. What makes the Dodgers so scary is not just their star power, but their depth. When you've got hitters like Max Muncy and Teoscar Hernandez driving in runs from the middle of the order, plus contributions from role players who aren't afraid of the big moment, it becomes nearly impossible for a team like the Reds to keep up. And let's talk about the pitching, because that was just as impressive as the bats. Tyler Glasnow took the mound for Los Angeles, and he was absolutely dominant. From his very first inning, Glasnow established his fastball and mixed in his devastating breaking ball to keep Reds hitters completely off balance. Cincinnati came into this game with some young talent and a lot of confidence, but Glasnow shut all of that down. Strikeout after strikeout, inning after inning, he looked like an ace in every sense of the word. By the time he handed the ball over to the bullpen, the game was already well in hand. What makes this win even more impressive is how complete it was. The Dodgers didn't just rely on one star to carry them. It was a full team effort. The defense was sharp, turning key double plays to kill any chance of a Reds rally. The bullpen came in and slammed the door shut, with guys like Evan Phillips and Buster Gratterall making sure the Reds had no hope of a comeback. It was the kind of win that sends a very clear message: the Dodgers aren't just here to participate, they're here to dominate. ESPN's reaction to this blowout was immediate and strong. The panel of analysts didn't hesitate to say it: the Dodgers look primed to sweep this series. One analyst even said the Reds looked completely outmatched and overwhelmed by the moment. And honestly, you can't really argue with that assessment. The Reds are a young, scrappy team, but they looked like they were playing in a different weight class tonight. The Dodgers' experience, depth, and sheer talent were on full display, and it's hard to imagine Cincinnati suddenly figuring out a way to turn things around in Game 2. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Baseball is unpredictable. We've seen crazy things happen in the postseason before. One bad game, one surprise pitching performance, and the narrative can shift quickly. However, if we're being honest, based on what we just saw in Game 1, the gap between these two teams is massive. And the Dodgers know it. They're smelling blood in the water, and when a team like this gets rolling, it's scary. One of the big storylines coming into this postseason was whether the Dodgers stars could shine under the October lights. Last year, they fell short and left fans disappointed. There were questions about whether Dave Roberts could get this team to rise to the occasion. Well, tonight's performance sure looked like an emphatic answer. Roberts had his team ready, locked in, and firing on all cylinders. Every move he made worked out perfectly, from the lineup construction to the pitching changes. That's exactly what Dodgers fans want to see: Roberts pulling the right strings when it matters most. The fans at Dodger Stadium were loving every second of it. You could hear the chants, the cheers, the pure excitement of a fan base that knows their team has what it takes to make a deep run. And you could also see it in the players. They weren't just going through the motions. They were fired up, celebrating big hits, pumping each other up, and playing with that edge that every championship team needs. Now, the question everyone is asking is simple: can the Reds even make this competitive? After a loss like this, you've got to wonder how Cincinnati will respond. They're a young team, and sometimes that inexperience shows up in the playoffs. The lights are brighter, the pressure is heavier, and every mistake feels magnified. The Reds have talent, no doubt about it, but against a powerhouse like the Dodgers, talent alone might not be enough. They're going to need to regroup quickly and find a way to at least slow down this offensive juggernaut, because if they fall behind early in Game 2, this series could be over before it even feels like it started. Ohtani is a game changer, and the fact that he's already making his mark in Dodger blue during October is something fans will never forget. And when you combine his leadership with the star power of Ohtani and Betts, you've got a recipe for postseason success. But right now, in this moment, the Dodgers look unstoppable. So Dodgers fans, soak it in. This was the kind of performance you dream about in October. The stars showed up, the pitching was dominant, the lineup exploded, and the team looked every bit like a championship contender. Game 1 was more than just a win, it was a warning shot to the rest of the league. The Dodgers are locked in, and if they keep playing like this, the road to the World Series is going to run right through Los Angeles. Make sure you hit that like button if you believe the Dodgers are headed for another deep playoff run, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates, reactions, and breakdowns from around Major League Baseball. This is only the beginning of what could be a legendary October for Los Angeles, and you're not going to want to miss a single moment.